So after a couple of weeks off, we're back with the Balvenies. This is the DoubleWood 17. You can't really see this because I've got a habit of little bottles, don't I? Again, I know there's an argument, I'm not listening at this point. This is a 17-year-old. Now, a few weeks, or possibly months ago at this point, I reported, off of rumours and hearsay, that it looks like the DoubleWood 17 is being discontinued. And I can find absolutely no evidence whatsoever to back up that claim. So I'm not going to say that it's being discontinued because I don't know. I'd heard off some friends, and that's never a good way to start, is it? Because it's kind of like, oh, I heard off of Margaret that Cheryl over at number 3, oh, you don't want to know what she gets up to in net curtains, I tell you. Right, now then, one of the first things that you'll notice straight away is that this whiskey is coloured, and you'll know that because I'm using a coloured glass today, because every now and then I stick with that rule. We play very hard and fast. Hard and fast? Loose and fast? So it's been a little while. I've had this resting in the glass now for about quarter of an hour. It's probably due another couple of minutes, but we'll see what we're getting anyway. It's a fruity, spicy number. A little bit of like pepper and cardamom in there. It's a little bit of like sultana, or like a Pedro Jimenez kind of a nose. Something a little mentholy about it. There's something minty on the nose. It's reminding me a little bit of like, again, like sort of flaky pastry, croissants. There's something a little bit almondy in there as well. Now, I feel like I'm huffing ginger a little bit as well, like freshly minced ginger. There's a little bit of like cardamom and sage in there as well. There's a fair bit going on. It's quite a spicy, fruity number. This week there's been people knocking back cheese and onion flavoured beers, and here I am having a fucking great time with a pretty old whiskey. So I mean, I'm not going to win the views game this week, but I'm enjoying myself, and that's ultimately all that matters. Oh, that's a slippery slope. Okay, so it smells pleasant, but what does it taste like? That's what we care about. One of my little more out there tasting notes, I mean, not really that out there for me, but, you know, out there in terms of tasting notes is the purple Yorkie bar. It's the milk chocolate with like biscuit and raisin in it. Getting that off of this? I'm something of cheap, really fatty chocolate and raisins and a little bit of biscuit. So therefore it is the purple Yorkie bar, because it combines all those things. If it was metallic, then it would be the purple Yorkie if you forgot to take the wrapper off. Because that's how I condense these things. I don't normally condense these things. These things are all over the fucking place. Weird, because I'm getting something a little bit tropical off of this. I'm going to say like coconut and mango. Yeah, there's like a mild tropical flavour. Sticking with mango, because it is kind of mango-y. There is a fair bit of spice, again, like cinnamon, clove, a bit of black pepper in there as well. There's something quite smooth and sweet about it as well. It's almost a little bit like marzipan. It's got like an interesting almond flavour. It's like if it was like slightly rubbish marzipan. It's like, yeah, okay, it's alright, but it's not, it doesn't taste of very much. It just kind of tastes sweet with like a little bit of almond in it. That's where we are. Nougat, maybe that's a better tasting actually. Nougat, because that's like crap marzipan, isn't it? Sorry, nougat fans out there. Yeah, I'll stick with nougat. Why not? Let's go nougat. Right, I'm going to stick some water in this, and then we're going to do that again, because that is the format. Put a bit of water in it, and I just realised as well, I've not really done the stats for this, but we do the Pokemon cards now, so it doesn't really matter too much. But 43% chill filtered, coloured. With a bit of water, it becomes way more fruity on the nose. Banana, figs, a little bit of almond again. There's still a fair bit of apple in there as well. The apple is still very much there, but it's joined by other members of the fruit basket. Can we get any weird fruits out of this? No. No, it's pretty standard supermarket fare. Still a little bit raisiny, but all like the chocolatey and more confectionery heavy notes are absent now. It's much more fruit, whether that be preserved fruit or... Actually, yeah, that's what it's reminding me. There was something that, like, I couldn't quite get what it was. It's strawberry jam. That's what it is. Yeah, now yeah. Lots of strawberry jam. There we go. That's where I was going with that. Really fruity nose. We'll go with that. and we will go in with some tasting because it's fun for me. I mean, you're just doing this because you're bored at home with fuck all else to do with your lives. Hello. By complete contrast to the nose, it goes quite, almost, I wouldn't say saccharine, but certainly kind of like a quite generic idea of sweet. Butterscotch, caramel, that like de leche stuff, salted caramel. I'm just trying to think of how many different ways I can say buttered sugar, basically. There's like lotus spreads. It's not quite the same thing, although they are alarmingly addictive. You ever had one of those? Oh man. Remind me a little bit of like a vanilla pudding. Or like just a plain... Does anyone ever get those like Pierce's blancmanges? It tastes kind of like the vanilla blancmange. My mum loved those things. She was just like, it was like the pinnacle of 70s kitsch for her. Come to think of it, I think I get most of my aesthetic choices from her strange love of retro cooking. There's an eye-opener for me. Maybe a little bit of tropical fruit, but I couldn't nail it down to a specific one this time. It is way more generic with water. Again, I think it's one of these whiskies where I don't really think it needs it. I think you can drink it on its own, as is. On its own, it's got a bit of attitude to it. And I mean that in terms of like, it's way more flavoursome. There's a lot more like oak, wood characteristics, which you would expect because it's the 12-year-old just given another 5 years in wood. Hey. So, you know, of course it's going to taste a bit more woody because it's had more contact with wood. Duh. And Balvenie are pretty good with their casks, you know? I mean, they know what they're doing, you know? They've been around for a good long while, and they do trade off of their cask knowledge. They do some things to the whiskey that maybe not everyone's too happy about, but hey, the mass market at the end of the day, and a lot of people love them, and they're actually a good gateway whiskey. So I'll give them a pass, because people try this whiskey and they go, well, maybe I will like whiskey, whereas they try something like Bell's and they go, bleh. That's the kind of standard reaction. It's kind of like, what I'm doing there is an impression of Mo whenever he has a furball. That's the kind of... That's always fun to wake up to 5 in the morning and go, oh God, I just changed these sheets, you bastard, no, no. And you run to the door with him and he's going, and the neighbours are like, what are you doing to that cat? And I'm like, it's fine, he's just got a furball. I was like... Anyway, it's a scene and a half in my household, it really is. I will say again, I finished that, so I mean, I clearly don't hate it, but if you want to see what I think of it, then my scores will be down below. I keep it's not a spreadsheet, it's a Google Sheets thing because it's on Google Docs. When Google collapses, that won't exist anymore, so make the most of it. That'd be weird if that ever happens. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up now. Thank you very much for joining me. And do join me next time, where I'll be drinking something else.